The one submission that everybody knows, including your grandmother, is actually a submission that everybody does incorrectly, and that's the triangle choke. When I say people do it incorrectly, it's not that they can't submit somebody, but what happens is a lot of people do a lot of unneeded details that result in sometimes getting the tap, but more often than not, we're focused on the wrong things. We're focused on getting a tap versus putting our partner to sleep. So in this video, guys, I'm gonna show you how you guys can do the triangle to where your legs will never get tired. Every defense you guys can think for the triangle goes completely out the window, and you're gonna triangle everybody. So the triangle choke arguably can be considered one of the most basic submissions in jiu-jitsu, especially in the context that everybody literally knows what the triangle choke is. You see it in the UFC, you've seen it in some John Wick movies, but what happens is a lot of details people show with the actual triangle choke and how they implement it are just a lot of redundant actual details that do not actually help you put your partner to sleep quicker. So what I'm gonna show you guys today is actually gonna help prevent a couple things. It's gonna make sure that your legs aren't gonna get as tired because you're only gonna squeeze when you know you actually have the submission. And the other thing it's gonna do, it's gonna prevent you from getting really frustrated when it comes to actually trying to do this submission, because it's extremely annoying when you catch somebody in a submission, you start getting real tired, and then you just start doing things that don't make any sense. So we're actually gonna focus on the triangle position in itself, and we're gonna talk about a couple concepts, and I'm gonna give you guys a couple details that's gonna make a significant difference when it comes to you getting the triangle. What I see happen a lot of the time is that when people get to a position to where they get to where they see they have a triangle, is that they end up over rushing the position. They end up chasing the finish line versus focusing on where they're actually at right now. So one of the things that I really preach and push at our gym is that we don't view the triangle in itself as a submission. We view it as a position and like a guard. So one thing that we always think about doing is that what I do is I take my left hand. If my right leg is the choking leg, is always going to be controlling my shin between my knees. So when it comes to holding my foot or doing this or locking it up, grabbing my foot, this doesn't help as much as what you guys think it does. Because in reality, and I'm going to show you guys this, we don't need to have the triangle locked up to actually get the choke. But once we understand what actually chokes our partner from the triangle, then it's significantly easier to finish the submission. So one of the first two things I have people really focus on is number one, when we get to this position, we're focused on controlling it. So we almost want to be like we're ratcheting something into the back of like a trailer, right? So when you tighten that, it stays that level of tightness and it can only get tighter. So the idea here is that we progress to this position to where we have the start of an actual triangle choke. And we want to either A, keep this position, or we want to progress it further, right? So one of the first things that we focus on is making sure the back of my knee is touching his neck. Because though we can have a position here to where I have gap between the back of my knee and his neck, and even if I have the triangle locked up here, no matter how hard I squeeze, it's not gonna choke him. Because even if I have his shoulder all the way connected to his neck and I do some of the old school way here, you see this space between my knee and his neck? No matter how hard I squeeze or if I pull this head down, it may kind of help with the choke, but this isn't really gonna submit somebody that's really good at jiu-jitsu. Because number one, you're probably not gonna get that arm all the way across there. But the other thing is too, if you get this arm all the way over across here, there are some escapes that bigger guys will do when they force their elbow to the ground, opens up your legs, and then it gets really annoying that you went from almost submitting your partner to now you're getting your guard passed and you're really uncomfortable. So when we get this here, we really make sure that the back of our knee is to our partner's neck. The other thing I focus on doing is controlling my shin, but I don't pull my shin across my partner's neck. Again, my priority is not to lock up the actual triangle. My priority here is to get and keep the back of my knee to his neck. And then with this hand, I'm pulling actually straight down to his back. So it's going across his back here to more control his posture. At the neck, I can't really control that at all. If you've got some goofy knees like I do, because the amount of how long I've been doing jiu-jitsu, it could put weird pressure on your knee. But even if you have, for example, I'm like not even 6 weeks past surgery on my right knee for my meniscus. If I control here, there's zero pressure on my knee, like literally whatsoever. So we focus on controlling the shin. I got the back of my knee to his actual neck now. The next thing we focus on doing is not locking up the triangle. Again, locking up the figure four does not make the triangle work any better. What I want to focus on doing is actually getting a better angle here. If my partner is on his knees, then we're going to be underhooking the arm. Keeping in mind, I have tension between both of my knees together. So I've got the back of the knee to the neck, and my left knee is pinching the shoulder. I keep my left foot on the hip. I do not post it on the ground. If I do that, he has a better chance of escaping his elbow because I want to keep this shoulder trapped. So I'm controlling the shin. If he's on his knees, we're gonna underhook just above his elbow towards his armpit, and look how I push myself off angle. I bring my head over here and I try to make sure my butt is facing away from my partner, almost perpendicular with him. It doesn't have to be like this crazy, though that will make it tighter, but I just need to be at a slight angle to where my butt is no longer pointing at him. We talk about really big guys keeping our feet dorsiflexed here. We're gonna explain why. So while I keep control over my shin, I'm gonna bring my knee towards my chest here. So versus trying to just immediately wrap it up and over, we wanna see if we can get this elbow up higher. If this elbow gets up higher, his shoulder gets tighter to his neck, which makes the choke that much stronger. So what we do is I keep my knee pinched and I bring it along his arm here. He's not gonna be able to escape it at all, guys, especially if I'm controlling my shin. So I bring my knee towards my chest. We go what's called ankle over ankle here. Now, when I do this, this is like some of the secret sauce of how we do triangles here. I keep my feet dorsiflexed like this, which is the idea of curling my toes towards my knee. But now I need to get the back of my knee to my ankle, but because my goal is to display a high level jiu-jitsu, it's not just to tap Ethan. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna extend my leg, bring the back of my knee towards my ankle, but look how I start to straighten out my leg. Now from here, without even squeezing, I'm just gonna curl my heel towards my butt. And a good way to know, guys, what it feels like to choke somebody, have a partner tap right when the choke starts. So if you guys watch Ethan, he's gonna tap with this arm right here, and right when the choke starts, he's gonna tap. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna curl my heel towards my butt, and before my heel even gets towards my butt and I start slowly squeezing, the choke already starts, as in the timer has already started before he falls asleep. Remember, my goal is not to tap Ethan. My goal is to put him to sleep. So my heel went to about here and he tapped, but it can go a little further. Then from here, I slowly begin to squeeze, right? So we talked about cutting this angle here, but what if though, I'm here and he steps up to this leg. So I'm controlling here, and if his leg steps up, it makes it a stronger triangle. Why? Well, because it helps me get a better angle. Look how my butt is now perfectly perpendicular from him. The more my butt faces towards him, the less I can actually bring the shoulder to his actual neck, which makes the choke extremely strong. So I control my shin, bring the knee along the arm, pinching my knees, ankle over ankle. I extend my leg to bring the back of my knee to my ankle here. And again, Ethan's gonna tap right when the choke starts because I'm trying to develop muscle memory to know when the choke starts. And it was already started to tap there, guys. So if you curl down, the choke's gonna end up starting. Then once you get down here, you don't squeeze 0 to 100. Not because we're trying to protect our partner, but because we're trying to do use as little energy as possible to put our partner to sleep. The other bonus detail I want to give you guys is talking about a way that you can actually eliminate almost every single triangle defense that you guys can think of. So like, think of this, for example. Some of you may be younger and you guys haven't seen this fight, but if you think of the first Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen fight, though Chael did get submitted, he may have been confused on the rules and he thought he just lost the round. But when he had the triangle choke, Chael leaned back and brought his feet in front of the chest. This is horrible. It's frustrating. It's embarrassing. So what's nice about jiu-jitsu though is that when you apply really strong and good mechanics in jiu-jitsu, you end up killing multiple birds with one stone. So when we do this, we do what we said before, back of the knee to the neck, and I'm controlling the shin. What I want to do, even just before I underhook the arm or the leg, is I actually want to do a crunch. I want to bring my chest to my knee, but also bring my knee towards my chest, but while I keep connection with the back of my knee to his neck. So we're gonna be like this. So now, even if I'm here and I don't cut the angle, if Ethan tries to bring his feet in front of my chest here, even with somebody as flexible as Ethan, he's not gonna be able to bring his leg in front there. So then now I can underhook this arm, and even now if he tries to bring the foot in front of the chest, it's even more difficult here. In fact, as he keeps trying to do it to that side, he's only gonna cut the angle more for me, which then makes it to where we can lock up the triangle and make it stronger. So now that you guys know how to actually finish a triangle choke and what mindset you need to carry in the position, that our goal isn't to tap our actual opponent, our goal is to put him to sleep. And now you know your legs are not gonna get tired, but the problem is that though you know how to finish a triangle choke, you still really don't have a great idea how to actually get to this position. So if you guys are looking for some really easy ways to find the triangle choke, check out this video right here that's gonna take you through the collar sleeve. That is literally the best guard for color belts or white belts in jiu-jitsu. If you guys are also looking to take your jiu-jitsu to the next level and you guys want to learn some lapel guard or actually have me as your step coach to help you, check out the links down below to take your jiu-jitsu to that next level.